In the quiet village of Enugu, some paths are not meant to be blocked, and some eyes see more than they let on. One afternoon, Chief Raymond, a man of wealth, respect, and unshakable pride, laughed at what he thought was a simple obstacle. But the obstacle was no ordinary woman. For centuries, she walked with the serpents of the earth, silent guardians of the land, unseen by most, obeyed by all. And when the snake stirs, even the greatest man can fall. This is the story of how pride met patience, and how a single careless moment turned a hero into nothing. If you are new here and stories like this unsettle you, stories that remind us that power does not cancel consequences, now is a good time to subscribe, because this tale only gets deeper from here. The sun hung low over the village, spreading a tired orange glow across the land as people made their way toward the popular Nkwo market. The path that led there was not just any road. It was a narrow village path, beaten flat by decades of footsteps, children running barefoot, women balancing baskets on their heads, elders leaning on walking sticks. It was too tight for two proud people to walk side by side, and everyone knew its rule. Whoever entered first passed first. That was how it had always been. The path curved gently between mud houses and old trees, opening only when it reached the market square. It was a path that had seen generations come and go. Elders said it existed before many of the families now living in the village. It was shared. It was respected. Chief Raymond arrived at the entrance of that path with two aides behind him. His presence changed the atmosphere immediately. Conversations dropped. People stepped aside without being asked. Some bowed their heads. Others whispered his name like a warning. Raymond was not just rich. He was powerful. He had built houses, sponsored festivals, settled disputes, but he had also crushed those who stood in his way. In Enugu, people respected him, but respect and fear often wore the same face. He adjusted his spotless white agbada and tapped his cane against the ground, more out of habit than need. He was headed to the market to inspect goods he had already paid for. Waiting was not part of his character. Ahead, on the narrow path, someone had already entered. It was a woman. She walked calmly, neither slow nor hurried, her bare feet firm against the red earth. A simple wrapper was tied around her waist, and a cloth rested on her head. She was not blocking the path. She was using it the way everyone else did. Raymond stopped. His face tightened. "Hey!" he called sharply, clapping his hands once. "Woman!" The woman stopped and turned. Her movement was unhurried, deliberate. She faced him fully. Her face was plain, unpainted, her eyes steady and deep. "Yes," she said. Raymond scoffed. "You entered that path without looking behind you." "I entered the path because it leads to the market," she replied simply. Some villagers nearby slowed their steps. They sensed tension. Raymond laughed, not amused. "Do you not see that I am coming?" "I see you now," the woman said. "Then step aside," he ordered. "Let me pass." There was a pause. Only a few heartbeats. The kind of pause that meant nothing and everything. The woman looked down the path, then back at him. "This path is narrow," she said. "I am already on it." A murmur passed through the onlookers. Everyone knew the rule. Raymond knew it too. He simply believed rules bent for people like him. "So because you stepped here first, you think you can delay me?" he snapped. "I am not delaying you," the woman replied calmly. "I am walking." That calmness irritated him more than disrespect would have. "Do you know who I am?" Raymond barked. "Do you know whose path you refuse to clear?" The woman studied him quietly. "I know where I am," she said. That answer struck him like an insult. Raymond stepped forward, lowering his voice. "People like you forget your place too easily," he said. "If you don't move now, you will regret it." As he spoke, the ground beneath the woman's feet darkened slightly, as though a shadow had thickened. For a brief moment, no longer than a blink, the shadow did not look like a shadow at all. Coiled. Raymond felt a strange chill rush through his legs. His breath caught. He could have sworn he heard a faint hiss, low and warning, like dry leaves shifting beneath the earth. His eyes widened. Then nothing. The shadow lay flat again. The woman stood as she always had, human, quiet, composed. No one else seemed to notice anything unusual. Raymond cleared his throat and laughed loudly, forcing confidence back into his voice. "Nonsense," he muttered. He stepped closer and deliberately brushed past her shoulder, knocking her slightly aside. "Learn respect," he said coldly. "This village belongs to people like me." The woman did not stumble. She did not shout. She did not curse him. She only said, "Some paths remember how they are walked." Raymond waved her words away as he continued down the path, head high. The villagers watched in silence. No one followed him immediately. An old man shook his head slowly. A market woman whispered, "He should not have done that." By nightfall, Chief Raymond sat in his large compound eating alone. His food tasted strange. His legs felt heavy, as though they had carried a load he did not remember lifting. When sleep finally came, he dreamed of the narrow path, stretching endlessly, alive beneath his feet. Something moved beneath it. Something patient. Something that waited. By morning he laughed it off. But the elders did not. Because in Enugu, when the earth takes note of a man, it does not rush. Wait. And it never forgets. Chief Raymond laughed the next morning as he rose from his bed, dismissing the heaviness in his legs as nothing more than age and stress. Men like him did not believe in signs. They believed in money, influence, and control. Whatever the earth remembered, he was sure it would remember him kindly. He bathed, dressed, and stepped out into his compound, greeting his guards with confidence. But as he took his first few steps, something felt wrong. His right leg dragged slightly, as if it had woken up slower than the rest of his body. Raymond frowned and stamped his foot once. "What nonsense is this?" he muttered. The feeling passed quickly, and he ignored it. Powerful men ignored small warnings all the time. By midday, the village was buzzing as usual. News traveled faster than footsteps in Enugu, and though no one spoke openly, many had heard about the incident on the narrow path. Some shook their heads in private. Others laughed nervously. A few elders sat under the nukwa tree and spoke in low tones, careful with their words. "He brushed past her," one elder said quietly. "She warned him," another replied. "And he did not listen," a third concluded. Raymond walked through the village square later that day, his cane tapping against the ground. People greeted him, but something had changed. The greetings were quicker. The smiles were thinner. Respect was still there, but it felt cautious. As he reached the edge of the square, the heaviness returned. This time it did not fade. His steps slowed. Each movement felt like he was lifting his legs through thick mud. He stopped. "Chief?" one of his aides asked. "I am fine," Raymond snapped. "Let us go." They continued, but halfway down the road, his left leg trembled. Pain shot upward, sharp and sudden. Raymond gasped and grabbed his aide's arm. "What is happening to me?" he whispered, panic creeping into his voice. They rushed him home. By evening, Raymond could barely stand without support. Sweat soaked his clothes. His heart pounded. His mind raced back to the narrow path, to the woman's calm eyes, to the shadow that had moved beneath her feet. "No," he said aloud, shaking his head. "This is nothing." That night, sleep did not come easily. When it finally did, it brought terror with it. He dreamed he was walking the narrow path again. Only this time, it stretched endlessly before him. The ground beneath his feet was warm, alive. He tried to move faster, but his legs would not obey. Beneath the red earth, something massive shifted. A voice, not loud, not angry, whispered, "You stepped where you did not listen." Raymond woke with a scream. His legs burned as though wrapped tightly in rope. He touched them desperately, expecting to find wounds, but his skin was smooth and unbroken. By morning, fear had replaced pride. Doctors were called from nearby towns. They examined him carefully, asking questions, tapping his knees, shining lights into his eyes. They spoke in medical terms Raymond barely understood. "There is no injury," one said. "No stroke," another added. "His legs are unresponsive," a third concluded. "How?" Raymond shouted. "Fix it." They tried. Medicines, injections, rest. Nothing worked. Each day his legs grew weaker. Each night the dreams returned. Always the path. Always the ground. Always the slow, tightening presence beneath the earth. The village watched. People who once begged for his favor now avoided his compound. The same men who praised him yesterday suddenly remembered urgent business elsewhere. Power, Raymond learned, attracted many people, but loyalty attracted very few. On the fourth day, an elder visited. He was old, his back bent, his voice soft. He did not greet Raymond as a chief. He greeted him as a man. "You have offended the land," the elder said quietly. Raymond laughed weakly. "Land? Yes," the elder replied. "And those who serve it." Raymond's laughter died. "That woman," he whispered. The elder did not answer directly. He only said, "Some people walk paths. Others are part of them." Fear settled deep in Raymond's chest. For the first time in his life, money felt useless. Titles felt empty. Power felt small. "Can it be undone?" he asked. The elder looked at his legs, then back at his face. "The land is not cruel," he said. "But it is patient." That night the dreams changed. Raymond dreamed he was no longer walking. He was sitting beside the narrow path, unable to rise. People passed him without seeing him. And beneath the ground, something coiled tighter and tighter. When he woke, he could not move his legs at all. And far away on another path, a woman walked calmly toward the village, her steps steady, her shadow stretching just a little too long behind her. That same night, Chief Raymond lay awake on his bed, staring at the ceiling of his room. Sleep refused to come. His legs felt heavy, useless, like they no longer belonged to him. Every time he tried to move them, pain crept up slowly, like something squeezing from inside. The compound was unusually quiet. No laughter. No radio. Even the guards outside spoke in whispers, as if loud voices might invite something bad. Raymond swallowed hard. For the first time in his life, the night felt too big. Then he heard it. Faint sound. Not footsteps. Not wind. Soft dragging noise. Raymond held his breath. His eyes moved toward the corner of the room where the wall met the floor. The sound came again, slow, careful. "Who is there?" he called weakly. No answer. The dragging sound stopped. Raymond let out a shaky breath and laughed nervously. "Fear is making a fool of me," he muttered. Just then, something moved. A small snake slid out from behind a wooden box near the wall. It was thin, dark, and shiny, its body moving smoothly across the floor. It stopped when it reached the middle of the room and lifted its head slightly. Did not hiss. Did not strike. It only watched him. Raymond's heart began to pound violently. "Snake!" he shouted. The door burst open as one of the guards rushed in. He froze when he saw it. "Kill it!" Raymond screamed. The guard did not hesitate. He grabbed a stick and smashed the snake hard against the floor. Once. The body went still. Raymond laughed loudly, the sound sharp and shaky. "You see. Ordinary snake," he said, though his hands were trembling. "Is this what everyone is afraid of now?" The guard forced a smile. "Yes, Chief." They dragged the dead snake outside and threw it over the fence. But the air in the room did not change. Raymond lay back, his chest rising and falling fast. He wiped sweat from his forehead. "Stupid fear," he whispered. Minutes passed. Then the dragging sound returned. Raymond's laughter died instantly. This time the sound came from the other side of the room. The guard turned slowly, his face pale. Another snake slid out. Bigger than the first. Thicker. It moved calmly like it knew the way. The guard stepped back. "Chief! Kill it!" Raymond whispered. Before the guard could move, a third snake appeared near the doorway, then a fourth close to the window. They did not rush. They did not fight. They simply spread out, forming a quiet circle in the room. Raymond's mouth went dry. "Why are they not attacking?" he whispered. The guard's voice shook. "Chief, snakes don't behave like this." Raymond felt something cold settle deep inside his chest. Outside, another guard shouted, "More snakes! They are inside the compound." Chaos broke out. Running feet. Sounds of sticks hitting the ground. But the snakes inside Raymond's room did not react. They stayed still, their eyes fixed on him. Raymond tried to sit up. Pain shot through his legs. He groaned and fell back. "Help me," he whispered. One of the snakes moved closer. Not fast, not slow, just steady. Raymond began to cry. Quietly. "I did not kill anyone," he whispered. "I did not steal. I did not mean anything." The snake stopped a short distance from the bed and lifted its head slightly. Its eyes did not blink. Outside, villagers had gathered near the compound gate. No one entered. People stood at a distance, whispering. "Snakes don't gather like this," one woman said. "They came only to his house," another replied. "Ah, this is not ordinary," an old man muttered. Children were pulled back by their mothers. Dogs refused to come close. Inside, Raymond's breathing became uneven. His mind raced back to the narrow path, to the woman's calm face, to her warning. Some paths are not meant to be rushed. "I am sorry," he whispered, his voice breaking. The snakes did not move. One by one, the guards retreated from the room. Fear had defeated loyalty. Raymond was alone now, surrounded by silence and scales. Minutes felt like hours. Then the largest snake appeared. It slid in slowly from the doorway, its body thick and heavy. It moved with confidence, as though it had been there before. The other snakes shifted slightly to make space for it. Raymond's eyes widened in terror. "Please," he cried. "Please." The large snake stopped at the foot of his bed. It raised its head and looked straight at him. Did nothing. No strike. No sound. Just watching. Raymond sobbed openly now. "I will change," he promised. "I will apologize. I will respect everyone." The snake's tongue flicked once. Then, slowly it turned away. One by one the snakes followed. They slid out of the room the same way they came in. Quietly, calmly, as if their work was done. Outside, villagers watched as the snakes disappeared into the bushes, into holes, into the darkness. No one chased them. No one spoke. Inside the room, Raymond lay shaking. His legs felt colder than before. Heavy. By morning, word had spread across the village. Snakes visited his house. They did not bite him. They only looked at him. People shook their heads. Some felt pity. Others felt fear. Many stayed away. Raymond tried to stand at dawn. He failed. His legs did not respond at all. Tears rolled down his face as he stared at them. He finally understood. The snakes had not come to kill him. They had come to report him. And somewhere, beyond the narrow paths and quiet roads, a decision was being made. By morning, the village had already begun to whisper. Started with small things. The morning market was unusually quiet when Chief Raymond stepped out. Traders who had once bowed their heads and rushed to greet him now stepped back, muttering under their breath. Women shifted baskets on their heads to avoid his path. Children ran past giggling, imitating the way he limped. Raymond froze in the middle of the path, cane in hand, eyes darting. "What is this nonsense?" he barked. "Why is everyone staring?" A trader pretending to check her goods whispered, "The snakes, they visited last night." Raymond's face twitched. "Snakes. Superstition. I am the chief. Do not speak nonsense in my presence." But no one stopped staring. No one came closer. His words were empty. Authority had slipped quietly, almost invisibly. Back in his compound, things worsened. His guards were reluctant to enter his room, lowering their eyes, shuffling slowly. When Raymond demanded they help him, they muttered excuses. One dared to say, "We are only human, Chief. Even men fear the path you walked." Fear now had followers. Power no longer did. By midday, rumors had spread to his own family. His wife avoided speaking directly to him. His children whispered in corners, and neighbors passed by, pretending not to see him. Even his closest aides now avoided eye contact, leaving the compound silent and empty. Then she came. The woman from the narrow path arrived at the edge of the compound. No announcement, no fanfare. Just walking. Steady. Eyes sharp as a hawk's, yet quiet. People outside stopped their chatter instantly. A child tugged at his mother's skirt. Elders stared, muttering prayers under their breath. Raymond saw her and felt a cold knot tighten in his chest. He tried to summon anger, to shout, to demand her leave, but his voice cracked before it left his lips. "You," he croaked. "You, what do you want?" She did not answer immediately. She simply walked a few steps closer, stopping just out of reach of the gate. Her eyes scanned the compound, then settled on him. "You are still standing where you should kneel," she said, her voice soft but carrying weight that silenced even the wind. Raymond felt his pride crumble, though he tried to hide it. "I am the chief," he shouted weakly. "I." But the words faltered. Around the compound, movement caught his eye. Shadows shifted unnaturally across the walls. Snakes, dozens of them, silently appearing from corners, from holes, from under mats. They did not hiss, they did not strike. They watched. Raymond's mouth went dry. His legs trembled. You sent them." She shook her head slowly. "I do not send. They come on their own." The villagers outside whispered. "Co. That woman is from something else. They say she controls the snakes. No man can face her." Raymond's voice grew frantic. "Stop this. Command respect. I have wealth. I have houses. I have." The snakes slithered closer to the windows, their eyes catching the sunlight. Their presence was calm, deliberate. It was organized. It was planned, not random. He stumbled backward, cane slipping from his hands. For the first time, he realized that money and title were meaningless here. They could not protect him. The woman tilted her head. "You are no longer chief of what you claim," she said. "You are a man judged." Raymond's aides tried to intervene. "Chief, please." He shook his head violently. "Stay away. Do not interfere." The largest snake, thicker than his forearm, slithered to the edge of the courtyard. Its head lifted, tongue flicking slowly, eyes never leaving him. Raymond fell to his knees, the cane clattering beside him. Tears rolled down his cheeks. Not from pain, but from humiliation, from the realization that his life of pride, power, and influence had collapsed in hours. By dusk the compound was empty. Neighbors whispered about the broken Chief Raymond, and the woman who controlled the serpents. Children dared each other to peek through fences, then ran screaming. Traders avoided his path. Even family dared not enter his room. Raymond tried to speak to his wife. She did not answer. He tried to summon his guards. They shook their heads. He tried to call his children. They closed doors in his face. The woman remained at the edge of the compound, watching, quiet, unyielding, untouchable. That night, as darkness swallowed the village, Raymond's legs failed him entirely. He fell to the floor, unable to lift himself. The snakes remained outside, silent sentinels in the shadows. For the first time, he understood the truth. Power is nothing if respect cannot be commanded without fear. And in Umaga, respect was now claimed by something older, quieter, and far more patient than any man. By morning, the villagers no longer called him Chief Raymond. They whispered, "He is broken. He walks where the snakes have marked." The woman vanished before anyone could speak to her again. But her presence lingered. And the snakes waited, as though keeping a record of every trembling step he made. Raymond was alive, but he was finished. And the village knew. The judgment had only begun. By dawn, Chief Raymond's compound was quiet. Too quiet. He tried to rise, but his legs refused. Completely. Heavy. He lay on the floor, sweat streaming down his face, clutching the cane that had once made him feel untouchable. Outside, the villagers whispered openly. Children pointed. Traders walked past without greeting. Even his wife kept to her room, doors shut tight. The man who had commanded wealth, power, and respect now lived in shame, broken and unseen. And then the snakes came. Not one, not two, not a dozen, but dozens, some small, some massive, slithering silently along the walls, the beams, the floors, even coiled on rooftops. They moved as if they had rehearsed this moment for centuries. Raymond tried to scream, but his voice cracked. The largest snake slithered across the floor toward him, stopping just inches from his hands. Its eyes were black pools, unblinking, deliberate. "You," Raymond whispered. "Please. I will do anything." A soft, deliberate clap echoed from the doorway. The woman appeared. Her eyes held all the weight of authority. Her presence alone caused the snakes to freeze mid-motion, turning all their attention to her. "Do you understand now, Chief Raymond?" she asked. Raymond shook his head, tears streaming down his face. "I understand. I will respect. I will do anything." She stepped closer. The snakes parted like water, coiling and uncoiling with silent obedience. "You cannot fix this," she said. "You had power, wealth, influence, but none of it matters when respect is earned through fear, and humility is absent." Raymond's hand shook. I will change." "You will not," she replied, "because it is not about what you do. It is about what you were." Suddenly, a hiss filled the room. The snakes rose slightly, wrapping partially around the beams and floor, their presence more overwhelming than any army. The largest snake reared, towering above Raymond as much as the room allowed. And then she spoke one word. "Marked." Raymond felt it instantly. Not just in his legs, which were already useless, but deep in his chest, in his bones, in the very air he breathed. He was no longer just physically broken. He was marked, watched, and judged. The snake world had claimed him. He cried out as if the floor itself had swallowed him. But the snakes did not attack. They only observed, their eyes cold, patient, relentless. Outside the compound, villagers could hear his screams. They didn't approach. Some whispered prayers. Some shivered in fear. Some laughed quietly at the irony. The mighty chief, now a man who could barely lift his arms. By midday, Raymond's servants abandoned him. His compound was empty, save for the woman, who remained at the edge, and the snakes, who had taken positions at every doorway, every window, every corner. By evening, even his family no longer entered. His wife murmured to the neighbors, "He is not the man we knew. He walks under a shadow we do not understand." The woman watched silently. The snakes stayed still. No one dared move. Raymond's wealth could not save him. His influence could not protect him. His name, once whispered with respect and fear, was now a story to warn others. And when night came, the snakes left as quietly as they had arrived, their watchful eyes never leaving him entirely. By morning, the villagers no longer called him Chief Raymond. They said nothing at all when he passed. His footsteps were heavy, dragging across the narrow path that had once been his domain. And somewhere in the darkness beyond the village, the woman and her serpents waited patiently, knowing some debts are never paid, only remembered. Raymond was alive. But in every sense that mattered, body, pride, power, and spirit, he was gone. The snakes had won. The woman had won. And the village would never forget. From that day, people learned that some paths are guarded by forces older than kings, and those who walk them with pride never return the same.